Well, tonight is Halloween Eve, and our special report this evening is about a dark spirit, perhaps the darkest, and how his agenda, aimed at making himself visible on Earth, keeps transforming.
Here's KTSM 9 News reporter Ruben Olague.
The entity we know as Satan, and I will refer to him here as a person, has seemingly reacquired an old method of possession. His system, it appears, is no longer just provoking the human body to escalate walls or speak languages unbeknown to victims. Assumingly, he is now using a regular person, somebody who, to you and me, looks pretty normal. The Catholic Church is investing considerable time and money into what it calls deliverance. It is a fairly new counteroffensive launched to catch Satan before he inserts himself in a person's body.
Deliverance basically is the ministry of getting people to be free of demonic interference in their life. It's the next level below exorcism. Exorcism is when a person is totally possessed by a demon and have no free will very much anymore. And so they need to go through a much deeper process with someone officially appointed to be able to do that work.
According to Father Hauff, a person is responsible for intimately acquiring satanic possession through opening spiritual gates for him. Each gated level represents that of continued growing acceptance.
If you mentioned before, people can be very, very strong. I've seen people get to the strength where they can lift up 10 people, and this is a little girl, or they can walk up a wall sideways. Things like that. They need a demon to be able to do. They could not do it in their own power. So once at that level, now we're dealing with really heavy demons. We're dealing with Satan himself. We're dealing with some of the heavy ones, Beelzebub, Moloch, and different.
It's not a game, he says. Mankind is exposed daily to a plethora of dark dangers that continue to challenge faith and reason. Exorcism, though, can be viewed as harassment and assault, a violation of the body. William Chavez is a lecturer of religious studies at UC Santa Barbara.
Exorcism is a battlefield on which you step on. We're waging a war against Satan, right? There's an army of dark forces and dark supernatural evils, right? And so this type of militarism, right, in theme and in metaphor and creative language is associated with Satan and also associated with those that do battle with Satan. The exorcisms I have seen are actually quite sad rather than frightful. They're sad because there are people in pain, and you can tell that they're in pain. Right? And it's a very emotionally exhaustive ordeal.
This is the book that contains the ritual called Exorcism and Supplication, one that only trained clerics can use. It includes specific instructions for Satan.
Hail Satan!
But there are those who do not wish to part from Satan. When asked for an interview, they said, "We are simply not religious." From a research standpoint, the problem with possession is that it does not stand the rigor of scientific method. One particular journal says that you can use holy water or any other liquid in a possession and the effect is the same on the victim. Other journals rely on pure psychiatric formations as the origin of demonic possessions. Nevertheless, a professor of religious studies is convinced the issue of insanity should not be the prime explanation of possession.
The most exorcisms in Europe didn't happen in the Dark Ages. It happened after the Protestant Reformation, right? Because when the Protestant Reformation happened, suddenly everything that people knew was in chaos. The monarchy, the government was in chaos. The state of the church was in chaos. And suddenly people began to think that their neighbor was a witch or their neighbor was possessed. And I see something very similar going on right now in the United States, where we've lost trust in the media, we've lost trust in our government, and we think that people are torturing children under pizza parlors in Washington, D.C. So to me, I see a very similar connection between a kind of impulse to look to the demonic. And hopefully things will begin to swing back the other way at some point. But I don't think it's inevitable. And I don't think that the future can be predicted. But I think that things like possession and exorcism will always exist in one form or another.
According to Pope Francis, this instrument should now be used for long-distance exorcisms. In April 2019, and for the first time in decades, the Vatican assembled 250 priests from 51 countries in order to teach them the latest procedures, including cell phones, to expel demonic spirits. Still, many victims and clerics believe the spirits are blood and skin bound. Most human beings go through life in a reality which is distant from the existence of Satan. But whether we believe in him or not, everyone we interviewed from the religious or scientific platforms agree. God and Satan both seem to be omnipresent and omnipotent. Ruben Olague, KTSM 9 News.